PYT, how are you doing? It's good to see you guys again. It's another Wednesday, and this is our Pulse Wednesday. I got a guest here I'm going to introduce in just a second, and I'm excited to have you guys with us again. I know this past week you guys are supposed to be doing your Discovery Bible study. I hope that's going well. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Before we do that, I want to get to my guest speaker. You'll remember him. He helped some at Winterfest for those who are really old, but he's come and spoke. Is that right? Spoke? Come and spoke. He spoke. He spank.
I didn't
Spoketh.
spank anybody.
No, he spoketh at the youth Sunday, I think, one Sunday a while back. Anyway, you may know him. It's my brother-in-law, Derek Moranto. There he is right there, guys. So let's just do an interview here. So what is your name?
Derek Moranto.
See, smart guy.
Pretty sharp.
Derek, where are you from, buddy?
Amory, Hatley, Mississippi.
Awesome. And you're now a current minister at
Christian Chapel, Church of Christ.
Awesome. Now Amory, where is that in Mississippi?
30 miles south of Tupelo.
Ah, Tupelo. Some of y'all may have heard Tupelo.
Tupelo, yes.
And Amory's obviously known for its
Hamburgers, Bills.
bills. I mean, because we talk about that all the time with our kids.
All the time.
You know.
Don't even know if you've ever. I don't know if I've taken you there.
You
Have I
haven't.
ever taken you there?
No, you've taken me to the Dairy
Dairy Cream.
Cream.
Another, staple.
Good milkshakes.
You know, one
Good
of the best hamburgers you can get is in Amory there at
Yeah.
Dairy Cream.
So
But
why haven't
Bill's
you
is
taken me
famous.
there?
Why have I taken you to
If
Bill's?
it's that good and you want everyone to know about it,
It gives you the runs.
okay. That's
Now I
a
know
good
that
reason.
you have a weak stomach.
Saved me. See, he's always thinking about other people.
I do what I can.
So Derek, you were a youth minister, right? Before.
Mhm.
Now you're the main minister at Christian Chapel. How's everything going there, buddy? It's going
Good. We're growing.
Sweet.
Got a very active young adult group, and we've got an active youth group. So things are going pretty smooth. So.
Awesome. You know, Derek got up this morning really early and went fishing in that pond right there, and he caught so many fish, so many that he had to throw them all back because we didn't have a place to put them.
No.
And so, well, look, I just really quickly want to ask you a few questions, Derek, because I know our teens have been asking me, hey, what's up with Derek? We don't know what's going on with him, and I haven't kept you updated. And I'm
sure
sorry
they have
about
asked
that,
Yeah.
guys. But really quickly, we're on quarantine, and so we are quarantined right now here in Mississippi with Lori's family, which is pretty fun and awesome. But you guys are back in Tennessee, and I know when we're quarantined by ourselves and not be able to get together, it's kind of hard. Sometimes we lack and slack on our schoolwork, slack on our deodorant, slack on our spiritual side. And so that's kind of why I want to ask Derek a few questions real quick. So Derek, how do you, first of all, just not even in quarantine, just how do you in general stay grounded and focused, in Christ and stuff? Can you give us some
I
tips?
thought about that. And you have to go back to what Christ said at the end of the Sermon on the Mount, after he got through, speaking, and he said, "Those who hear these words of mine and practices them is like the man that built his house on the rock." And so, I think the first thing is, how do we build a faith that, sustains? How do we build a faith that lasts? How do I do that? I think the very first thing that we have to remember is you have to listen to God. And I don't think you can build a faith unless you listen to God. And so the very first thing he says is, those who hear these words, the very things that he said from all the way to blessed there in Matthew chapter 5 and all the way to Matthew chapter 7, he says, when you hear them and then you put them into practice, and that's one thing that we really don't like to do is practice. I have a middle child, Braden, Aaron. He does not like to practice anything. He just wants to get out on the field and play. And he can play, but he doesn't like to practice. Well, if you want to build your faith at home there at Pegram, then listen to God. And when you hear those instructions, practice. And so in this, quarantine type deal, some of the things that God tells us to do is something that I know that y'all are very familiar with. I know Jason has done a sermon series on it, is the fruit of the Spirit. And if you can hear those words, find love in every day. We have today. So how can I show the fruit of love? How do show joy in times of stuff like this, and how can I be patient, how can I, provide peace, and so you just go through the whole fruits of the Spirit and let that be something that you try to do today, since that's what we're only promised. And so that's something I've tried to do, is just hear Him. The only way you can hear is basically open up His Word and just kind of listen to Him. We find that faith comes from that hearing, from listening to Him. And so when you do that, you're going to find out some things that you can do today. And one of those things is just love, to have joy, to have peace, to have patience and kindness and goodness, and you continue on. And so I think, Aaron, that's one thing I try to keep in mind is, if I'm promised today, then I need to hear the instructions, build my faith on that, because it's pretty much implied that when rains do come, you kind of need to do that before the rains come.
Yeah.
But if if you haven't, then do it while it's raining, and kind of build your faith by listening to Him, and then put those things into practice. If you don't practice, you will not be able to withstand the rain that's coming.
That's good. That's real good. We often we wait until we're in the moment,
Right.
and then we try to shuffle our schedule around to try to do something that we need to do after the fact.
Right. And so we need to, and if you haven't done that yet, it's not too late. Go ahead and start building it while it's in the rain. But for those who have been building it, just remember the things that you have been doing to make that faith strong, and continue that. It may be you thinking outside the box in order to do that, but fruits of the Spirit can always be done no matter where you are. And so and opening up His Word and listening to Him can be done wherever you are. So that's something I try to do. I'm not the best at it, but that's something I try to do to kind of help continue my faith to be stronger and stuff like that.
So if we're doing the Discovery Bible study, so guys, I guess what I would think, and what I challenge you guys to do, is that in that study, if there's something you think, hey, I can do this for someone else, or they need to hear this message. Remember the last one, that I can share this with somebody. But it may not be just sharing what you learned. It may be sharing one of the fruit of the spirits, somehow bringing peace to someone, maybe giving them a call, sending them a message, a note, a letter. Man, when's the last time you wrote a paper letter and put it in the mailbox? That's pretty awesome. So
what is that?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
But just think of some way. Hey, how can I do what Jesus did to other people, for other people, in quarantine? Derek and I were talking about some things that I'm going to challenge you guys with, and I'm excited about later. But some ways that we can stay connected in times of quarantine as a youth group. But make sure that when you are reading and doing this Discovery Bible study, as Derek was mentioning, put that stuff into practice, because then it's kind of like looking at your image and forgetting what you look like. So some cool stuff. Let's everybody, if you would give an applause for Derek. That was pretty weak. All right, guys, love you. Hope to see you soon, and I'm excited about this, and we'll get together again very, very soon. I'm praying for you, and see you.